Greetings, everyone. I'm sorry I am a little late getting started with Mind the Mental Monday tonight. Um, and I am trying to get things up on Instagram. Give me a minute. I'm not going to be long tonight. Um, all right. So sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be very honest. um I'm going to be very honest tonight and say that I'm just a little bit off kilter and a little discombobulated because I'm pretty tired. I got in from Atlanta this morning. I guess around, actually, I got in like around maybe one, a little after 1 in the morning. And then I was waiting for a lift, and I waited for like, I don't know, 40 minutes, I think, for to get to get a lift. And yes, I use Lyft so that I can get my Delta miles. So, so you know, I just so I didn't get in until like to home until like maybe 2:30 in the morning. And then I got like 3 hours of sleep. So I'm kind of running on fumes. And ordinarily on a night like this, I would cancel Mind the Mental Monday, but um, I will not be doing Mind the Mental Monday next Monday because I'll be out of town again. So I didn't want this Monday to go by without at least trying to give you guys some encouragement for Mind the Mental Monday. So as we start out with, and there's my friend, I got a new friend, Jabari. Hey, Jabari, good to see you again this week. Hey, Sora Barrel. Reverend Barrel, Dr. Barrel, nice to see you here too for Mind the Mental Monday. And so last week we talked about finding connection and disconnection, and we talked about the importance of disconnecting, right? Disconnecting from a whole lot of outward things, whether it's social media, television, whether it's our friends, family members. Sometimes we just need to disconnect, find that place within ourselves, and really examine ourselves and examine where we are within ourselves mentally. And so over this weekend, I think as a part of examining yourself, hey, Reverend Soror sister, I think a part of examining yourself is a part of the importance of doing that is so that we can get to a place where we get ourselves outside of boxes that either others have put us in or that we have put ourselves in or that we have accepted, right? Sometimes we might say that, people will kind of put us in a box. So an example of that for me being a woman in ministry is that very often, you know, people want to sort of put me in the box of only ministering to women. Well, that's not my only ministry. I don't only, God gives me a word for everybody, right? Sometimes it's just for women. There are times where, I just did a women's retreat 2 weeks ago in New York. I just did a women's conference this past weekend in Atlanta. And so in those cases, yes, I was ministering to women, and by and large, I do minister to women, but that's not the only ministry that I do. And so one of my pet peeves is for people to sort of put me in what I call the woman box, right? Of I can only deliver the word of God, or only teach, or only speak to other women. And while I love my sisters, and while I love enjoy ministering to other women, it's not the end all be all of me in ministry. Another example is, so at the conference this past weekend, I did something that I wouldn't normally do. Yeah, I was teaching on Leah, the woman, um, one of Jacob's wives in the Old Testament in Genesis. And like the Spirit told me, I had my slides, which I use very often, but the Spirit was like, well, I want you to be Leah. And I was just like, huh? What? I'm not an actress. That's not that is, you look, acting is not my ministry, right? But the Holy Spirit was like, no, do it. And so then I heard that very clearly. But then in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm not an actress. That's not my ministry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just provide an overview of, who Leah was, and what, sort of what her circumstances were, and what she was coming out of at the point in the text that I was picking up. And the Spirit was like, that's not what I told you to do, Benita. I told you to become her. I want you to actually get in her skin. I want you to actually get in her shoes. And so I was like, okay, all right, Lord, I ain't done no acting and forever. I was a dancer in high school, right? When I was in the musicals in high school, I was in the musicals dancing. I was not, or singing even, but not acting. So anyway, but I did it. I got outside of that box. I got outside of my head, because it really wasn't about whether or not I'm a skilled actress. It was about being obedient to the Holy Spirit in that moment, to um to get out of a box that I had put my own self in. And when I did that, it went over extremely well, right? So um I want to encourage you, whoever you are, those of you that are watching. I can't see who's watching on Facebook, but for those of you on Instagram that are watching, thank you first of all for tuning in to Mind the Mental Monday this week. I want to encourage you to get out the box. Like there are just so many creative ways of doing things that, people get tired of kind of seeing the same thing done the same way all the time. And sometimes there are new and unique ways to grab people's attention, so that they're focused in and they're tuned in on the message that you're trying to bring, or the whatever it is that you're trying to do. And so, sometimes I think some of the reasons that we put ourselves in boxes, and we become comfortable staying there, is because we understand, we know that box, right? Like, we know the size of the box. We know how the box can close over top of us. We know how much space, how much wiggle room we have or don't have in that box. And we just get comfortable in the box, because it's what we're used to, right? It's what we're used to doing. You know, um, it's uncomfortable getting into different terrain. It's uncomfortable, because going places that we've never been before, doing things that we've never done before. And a lot of times it will limit us, right? It will limit. Hey, Timmy. Hey, y'all from Atlanta? I was just in Atlanta. Um, I think that's what you're saying, Timmy. You're from ATL. Oh yeah, put in the chat where you're tuning in from. That would be great. That would be great for me to know. I do that every week too. Um, Welcome and thank you, Jabari, for sending Timmy here. So, I don't know where each of you is in life right now, right? But wherever you are, think about what are the boxes that what box have I put myself in? It could be based on your career, it could be based on your family life, it could be based on school, where you are in school, if you're in school. Like, it could be based on a myriad of things. But what are some boxes that you have put yourself in? Why have you put yourself in that box? Is it that you're just comfortable there? It's warm and fuzzy in that box. It's something that you know. It's something that's not going to necessarily stretch you to be all that you can be, to be the best you can be, to be greater at than you are right now, to reach higher heights, to do greater things, to expand your reach. I mean, all of those things, in order to do that, in order to expand your mind, to expand your reach, to expand you, it takes getting out of that box. It takes the courage to get yourself out of the mental box that has gotten you stuck where you are. And as you are growing, so you never stop growing in life. Now, me as a about to be 56-year-old woman, I could have put myself in that 50 plus box, what I'm going to call that, the 50 plus box of there's not a whole lot more for me to do. There's nothing new for me to do. There's nothing new for me to try. But as long as I'm here on this earth, there is always something more for me to do. There's always something more for me to learn. And guess what? I can learn some things from the younger generation. I have children who are, two of them are millennial and one millennial and two Gen Z. And my baby girl is real Gen Z. But I learned so much from each of them, and I'm so happy that each of them are always encouraging me to try new things, to expand my reach by expanding some of the things that I do and some of the things that I talk about, and bring my experiences, my life experiences to the next generation. And so it's one of the things that I enjoy doing here on Mind the Mental Monday is really allowing us to understand that there is greater in store for us when we don't limit ourselves, when we don't allow ourselves to stay stuck where we are. Everybody, all of us, I don't care how old we are, how young we are, we should all be trying to reach new destinies, new higher heights. We should all be trying to expand who we are and who we can become. As Michelle Obama so poignantly wrote, we are all becoming. We never stop becoming until it's the end. And prayerfully, that's not going to be anytime soon. But until we reach that point, we should all still be becoming, whatever that means. And that is going to change from season to season of your life. The my becoming when I was in my 20s is different than my becoming in my 50s. It's very different. In my 50s, I'm much more bold. I'm much more vocal. Um, I'm less, in some ways, I'm actually less afraid of stepping out. And then in other ways, I'm more afraid of stepping out because it can be a scary world out there when you feel like you've reached a plateau, especially in my career, like career wise, you feel like you've kind of reached your plateau and you're thinking about maybe trying something new at this age. It's very scary. I'm still in that moment, right? I'm still sort of toying with getting myself out of that box of thinking that, oh, it's scary to think that I would start over with something new now in this life. But I'm at a place where technically I actually could retire from what I do and move into something that I really enjoy doing. But it's hard even thinking about taking that step because I'm comfortable because where I'm at, like it's a steady paycheck. Them bills, even though I might be trying to change and move out the box, the bills are like, but hey, we still here. So, so that's real, right? Like having those fears sometimes is real. So we just have to in stepping out of the box, the other part to that is sometimes is stepping out with a plan, right? So um making a plan of, okay, well, what's next? What is it that I really want to try to do next? And what are the steps that I need to take to get there? And how can I leverage what I'm doing right now, the expertise that I've gained over these years, the wisdom that I've gained? How can I leverage that to step out of the box into doing something that I never imagined possible? Well, you will never know if it's possible if you stay in the box or if you stay in the boat, right? And don't like get out and swim, right? So we've got to get ourselves in the mindset of trying new things. And I mentioned this a couple of episodes ago where I talked about, in fact, I challenged you and me to try something new. Like, it could be something small, like, it could be a new hairstyle, it could be, I don't know, cutting your hair, or it could be trying a new food that you've never tried before, and just experiencing something new, something different than what you normally do on a day-to-day basis. Because when you start with trying something new that's small, you'll ultimately say, well, if I can do that, if I can make that one small change, if I could try something that small, then I can take it up. I can bump it up a notch and try something new that's, I don't know. I've seen people do things like skydive. Now, I don't know about that for me. I don't know if that's my ministry, but for you, it might be like hiking a high mountain. There are people that go, there are extremes to trying something new, but start small. Start with, I'm gonna get a recipe for a dish that I want to try, and I'm going to not go to a restaurant and get it, but I'm going to make it myself. I mean, that's a small step, right? So I just I'm I'm not going to be before you long tonight, which sometimes is a good thing, just because I really am exhausted, and so when I find myself just repeating myself over and over again, I don't want to be too long. I don't want to belabor the point, but you get the point, right? That when we keep ourselves in boxes, we limit our potential. And not only do we limit our potential, but we limit the impact that we might have on others, whether it's others in our community, in our families, in organizations that we participate in. When we limit ourselves and we keep our gifts in a box and don't allow our gifts to be used in order to uplift others, in order to, help somebody else that's watching you. You never know somebody, because guess what? People are always watching us. They're always watching what we're doing. And at some point, somebody who is watching you will see you taking those steps, will see you stepping out the box and think to themselves, you know what? they can do it, I can do it. If they can get out the box, I can get out the box. If they can try something new, I can try something new. If they can expand their mind, their mindset, and if they can expand their reach, then guess what? So can I. So, whatever we do, whenever we're talking about minding the mental, whenever we're checking in on where we are mentally from week to week, from day to day, remember, even though Mind the Mental Monday, I only do this on Mondays. What I always encourage you to do on a daily basis is to check in with yourself multiple times a day and check in with where you are. And so I just finished doing an exercise with my therapist. So I'm going to tell you guys. So I was selected to receive an award that I'll be receiving in December through an organization that I am a part of. And the first thing that I said to myself when they sent me the notice that I was selected to receive this award was, why me? Right? It was like, why are they wanting to give me an award? Like, what do I do? What have I done to deserve anything? So that was literally the first thought that came to me. And and so I was talking to my therapist about it because I was just like, why do I always do that? Like that's my go-to. If anybody says something like nice about me or wants to give me an award or reward me with something, the first thing I say is, why me? Right. And then, it's like, well, why not you? So my therapist had me to do this exercise, and I'm going to share it with you because maybe this is something that'll help you, because that is a box that I have that I have put myself in, of this box of feeling unworthy, right? A box of feeling like whatever I do is not enough to be noteworthy. Um, but that's because when I do whatever it is I do, I don't do it to be noteworthy. Like that's just not that's not the thought in my head, like, oh, I'm gonna do this so that I can get an award. Like that's not how I think, right? But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with smelling the roses, right? When you get them. It's nothing wrong with taking some time to just sit and smell the roses and acknowledge that the work that you've done, whatever it is that you have poured into people to make them decide that they want to give you an award, or whatever it is that you've done. um you've got to smell those roses. So what she had me to do was, she was like, I want you to write down all of your accomplishments over the, like, starting back in elementary school, which for me, y'all, that was a long time ago. It's a long time ago. I remember some of the stuff, but not all of the stuff, right? So I did that. I took the time while I was at the retreat in New York and sat under a tree and just started listing stuff, accomplishments. And before I knew it, it was like, wow, I've actually accomplished a lot in my lifetime. I've never taken the time to just sit and sort of think about it, right? Um, and so I'm proud of myself, right? I'm proud that I stepped out of that box, because it allows me to then feel like, well, if I could do that, I could do those things and reach those accomplishments, that there's more for me to reach. There's more that I can accomplish. And it's not to puff myself up, but it is to my reasoning is to try to just give, to encourage someone, or to make to help my community, to help those that who will listen to me, to try to encourage those, because it's a reciprocal thing. They're going to encourage me right back. So I'm encouraging you, to do the exercise of, if you are in a box and you know it, and you know what your box is, and if you've gotten comfortable, and in fact, if just sealed yourself up, you got the tape on it, not that weak tape, not the scotch tape, but you got like duct tape on that thing, right? You got duct tape on that box. It's not even tape. You might have like that strong glue, that what is that called? That gorilla glue, that glue that's hard to break to break apart. You might have gorilla glued your box, and you just gonna stay in that box. Ask yourself, why am I staying in this box? And what, in fact, if I get out of this box, what could happen? Like, what are all the possibilities that could happen? First of all, what's the worst that could happen? But then what are the myriad of possibilities, not just for me, but for those that I love, those that I serve, my community, my people. What what could be possible when I get out of that box? And then just encourage yourself. You know what? I'm not going to stay in here. I'm gonna bust out of this box. I'm gonna be like the Hulk. Some of y'all might be too young to even know who the Hulk is, but he's somebody who David Banner. He was a little doctor, and when he got upset enough, he would become this big muscular beast and would bust out, just bust out, of everything and have this strength. So I want you to feel like, you know what, I'm getting out of this box. I'm getting out of this box. I'm scared, but I'm going to, as Brene Brown said, what I'm going to do is scared. No, not Brene Brown. It was, oh wow, I can see her face. But I'm missing, I can't remember her name right now. Who said, do it scared, right? So whatever it is, whatever box it is that you feel like you need to get out of, and whatever you're being propelled to next, do it scared. Do it scared, but just do it. All right. All right. So I hope that you all give it give me some comments. Let me know. Um, was this encouraging for you? Are any of you in a box right now that you feel like you want to get out of? Um, I want you to let me know. And Jabari, thanks again for sending your crew uh here to Mind the Mental Monday. Tell me some topics that you might be interested in on Mind the Mental Monday. Um, write it in the comments or DM me, or just let me know what topics might be of interest to you, that I can bring for you on Mind the Mental Monday. So, all right. So that's it. That's it for tonight. Get out the box. Do it scared, but just do it. Punch your way out of it if you have to. But again, it's not just for you, but it's for those who look to you, who look up to you, and who are watching how you move, and are encouraged by watching you get out the box so that they can get out of theirs. All right. So God bless you. Thank you again for tuning in to Mind the Mental Monday. Again, I will not be here next Monday, but please, if you have not done so already, I need you to go to my YouTube page, Benita Weathers 329. Do it now, please, and subscribe to my channel. And there's lots of Mind the Mental Monday topics up there already. This is I think I think last week I thought it was 42, but I think today is actually 42. I'm not 100% sure, but just go there. There's lots up there. If you've missed it, you can go back and look at those. All right. So have a wonderful and blessed night and week, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. All right. Good night, everybody. God bless.